In the ever-shifting tides of global music, few voices emerge that not only echo through the charts but resonate deeply within the human experience. On March 31, 2023, Jisoo, already a household name through her years with BLACKPINK, stepped onto a new stage. This time not as one-fourth of a phenomenon, but as a singular force, ready to carve her own path in sound, emotion, and vision. Her debut solo track Flower was not merely a release, it was a cultural shift. Wrapped in the gentle hush of Korean traditional melodies and pulsing with the modern heartbeat of pop trap, Flower unfurled like a secret long-held, delicate, deliberate, and devastatingly powerful. With over 100 million streams in just 7 days, a #2 debut on the Billboard Global 200, and a #1 spot across major Asian music charts, the world didn't just listen, they bloomed with her. Flower didn't shout for attention, it drew it in like petals silently reaching for the sun. There was something hypnotic in the way Jisoo let silence breathe between her notes, something fearless in how she didn't need to oversing to overwhelm. The lyrics, veiled in poetic sorrow and quiet strength, spoke of departure not as an end, but as evolution. It was a message that mirrored her own transition, from the refined gloss of a girl group megastar to the more textured, vulnerable identity of a solo storyteller. Flower became not just a song but a metaphor, of shedding, of rerouting, of returning to the essence. And with it, Jisoo's artistry took root in new soil, richer, darker, more intimate. Where Flower was a sigh, All Eyes on Me, released the very same day, was a roar. This wasn't a B-side. This was a battle cry, a pulse-pounding EDM anthem that shattered any lingering doubt about Jisoo's range. It exploded with confidence and energy, flipping the narrative from quiet elegance to unapologetic command. The lyrics weren't asking for the spotlight, they were seizing it. Don't just look, watch. Don't just listen, remember. With a thundering beat and lyrics that danced between flirtation and defiance, Jisoo proved she could play with power as much as she could with poise. Charting at #4 on the US World Digital Songs and reverberating across both Asian and European club scenes, All Eyes on Me cemented a duality. The flower may bloom in silence, but it also knows how to set the night on fire. But Jisoo didn't stop at contradiction. She evolved into something greater. On February 14, 2025, the ground shook again, not just because she released a new track but because she declared her independence. Earthquake, her first release under her self-founded label Jisoo, and in partnership with Warner Records, was not simply a new song. It was a manifesto. This was not Jisoo from BLACKPINK. This was Jisoo full stop. From the very first beat, Earthquake rumbled with raw intensity. The lyrics spoke of shaking free, not out of rebellion but out of revelation. No longer constrained by image or expectation, Jisoo stood at the epicenter of her own artistic earthquake, and the aftershocks were felt around the world. #1 on US World Digital, top tier of Billboard Global 200. But more than the numbers, what made Earthquake seismic was the shift in perception. Jisoo had become the voice, not just the face. If Earthquake cracked the surface, Your Love flowed through the fault lines like water. Gentle, healing, essential. Released on the same day as Earthquake as part of her EP Amortage, Your Love was an emotional low tide that revealed the shorelines of her soul. It was a song for those who've loved and lost, for those who've stood in the quiet aftermath of a goodbye. With its stripped-down arrangement and warm, intimate vocal tone, Jisoo reminded the world that power doesn't always roar. Sometimes it whispers truths we've all been afraid to face. Though it didn't dominate charts like its louder siblings, Your Love quietly took root in listeners' hearts. It was the kind of song people returned to again and again, when silence felt heavy and memories felt too loud. Then came Hugs and Kisses, the final track of the EP, but by no means an afterthought. A mid-tempo rock ballad tinged with emotional grit, it was a closing chapter that opened a door inward. Here the walls came down. Gone was the polished idol, the high-gloss perfection. In her place stood a woman bruised, brave, and rebuilding. Hugs and Kisses was a confessional, not of weakness but of reclamation. Every chord struck like a heartbeat learning how to trust again. Every lyric felt like a diary page finally spoken aloud. It was catharsis in 3 minutes and 42 seconds, and when the final note faded, it didn't feel like an ending. It felt like the beginning of something deeply, breathtakingly human. And in the quietest corner of Amortage, tucked away without promotion, without spotlight, lived Tears. Unreleased as a standalone single, It was the invisible thread that held the entire EP together. With minimalist instrumentation and lyrics that bled honesty, Tears was less a song and more a confession in sonic form. It didn't scream for recognition. Didn't need to. It lingered. It echoed. It stayed. Like the name it bore, it was born not from noise but from silence. And in that silence it said everything.